Good day, everyone. Today we will discuss the learner centered approach and how it connects to classroom discipline. A learner centered approach assumes that students actively construct their knowledge, and as teachers as well, it is our role to create an interactive and participatory learning environment that would somehow enhance engagement and critical thinking. So, while this approach values student autonomy, it also acknowledges that classrooms are social contexts that requires rules, no classrooms it require rules and structure to function effectively. So when we say social context, our classroom should be a place or a venue that would enable our students to practice relationships. How to practice relationships is that we will provide educational activities that they are to interact with their classmates, no? To come up with ideas that could be through brainstorming, group discussions, or it could be group projects. Rules play a vital role in maintaining order and facilitating learning. So they establish no expected behaviors and help create a respectful and productive classroom environment. So effective teachers no, use positive reinforcement and appropriate consequences to manage student behavior. So it is essential to remember that classroom discipline should focus on guiding students toward learning and growth, no, rather than being purely punitive. So when we say rules, no, I had it emphasized no, in our previous meeting that it should be provided to our students no, very clearly at the very first month no, of the class, and that should be consistently reinforced no, by always reminding them from time to time, especially that you will soon be teaching high school students no? They are not that mature enough to really internalize what the rules are in the classroom which has been agreed. Now, what is positive discipline? So, it is a teaching model that balances effective instruction with respect for children's rights. So, instead of using physical or verbal aggression, this approach focuses on reinforcing good behaviors. So, when we say reinforcement, that refers to rewards, no appreciation or recognition of good behaviors or desirable or productive behaviors in the classroom. So, positive discipline that promotes respect, dignity, and constructive guidance. So, it helps students to develop essential the social and emotional skills in supporting learning environment. Positive discipline is based on four key principles. First, we have dignity. So, dignity meaning we must respect students' dignity and ensure no mutual respect in the classroom. Second, we have teaching, not punishment. Discipline should both no, be both kind and firm, focusing on solutions rather than imposing fear. Then we have understanding. So instead of merely reacting to misbehavior, we should seek to understand the underlying causes and address them constructively. So, for example, if one student is manifesting no repetitive balik-balik no repetitive destructive behaviors in the classroom, so instead of focusing on the misbehavior itself, we try to look at what are the possible causes of such misbehavior. That's why as teachers, no, we will talk to the student privately after class. Then we triangulate information that we gather from the student no, to the parents or the guardians themselves. So we will set a parent-teacher conference. No? Mangumusta ta? What's the nature of behavior no, of that concerned student at home? No, we gather information because there might be family problems, or it could be the child no, is exposed to violent no, environment no, to the locality where the student is residing. So that's why we need to also um, go beyond the four wall of our classroom. We need to closely collaborate with parents no, or the care uh, givers of the child. So we need to understand no, the influencers of such behavior so that the way we deal with a child no it's not just very superficial no. That's why the role of teachers and parents are very important in handling the child's misbehavior as to focusing positive discipline. Then we have the fourth, fairness. No? Management should promote justice and discrimination, ensuring that all students now feel they are being valued and supported. So when we say fairness, we are not being selective, no, regardless of again economic status, regardless of family background, regardless of whether how cooperative or not cooperative their parents are. We should treat our students no, each one of them fairly. So we have here an example of handling no, or addressing cheating in the classroom, which reflects positive discipline. So, for example, Miss Santos, no, a math teacher, notices that one of her students is glancing at his classmate's paper during a quiz. So, instead of embarrassing the student no, in front of the class, the teacher uses a positive discipline approach. So, first, no, we have here immediate. When we say immediate, the very moment you observe no undesirable behavior, you respond to it, rather than no you just let it pass and you address this behavior 2 days after when the student will commit another unpleasant behavior. So in this case, no, the undesirable behavior of the student who is cheating, the teacher immediately reacted to it, but with calm response, so meaning the student approach it with calmness. So instead of calling no, the student out loud, the teacher no, calmly walks toward to the students, no, places the hand lightly on his desk and signal that she noticed the behavior. So as what I have discussed last week now, that when we notice one of our students that is misbehaving, instead of verbally calling out the name, which might be reinforcing to the student who is na, attention seeking, we do non-verbal gestures to give signals. So in this case, the teacher approached the student who is cheating and calmly no, places a hand on the desk to give signal that the behavior was being noticed. Then she gives him a knowing look no, and sadly shakes no, her head as a reminder that the classroom's integrity policy will be reinforced. So the student here will realize no, that he has been caught cheating, and of course there will be obviously no, there will be a change of behavior. So second, the teacher will privately talk to the student no, after class. So after the quiz, the teacher asks the student to stay behind no, the class for a moment. So in a calm tone, the teacher will say, I noticed no, that you were looking at your classmate's paper. Then the student no, will respond no, the reason behind the behavior. So um, as a teacher, we should ask questions that is very concrete, leading to a specific answer. So the teacher may ask now, can you tell me the reason why you look at your seatmate's paper? So that you'll be able to um, gather a more specific answer rather than you will just ask, why did you do it? The That question is very general, and the student no might be defensive no with the answer. So instead we give a more specific question by asking what is the reason behind his action of looking at his seatmate's paper while taking the test. Then third, we have here guidance instead of punishment. So instead of immediately giving the student a zero score, no, you can have the statement, no, I understand that taking quizzes, being unprepared, no, can be stressful. So, however, cheating is not the right solution. No, cheating is not tolerated in the classroom. So it's important not to learn than just to get a score. So with this, no, as a teacher, we will offer solution. So for example, I will give you a chance to retake similar quiz after school, but the next time I will catch you cheating again, I will no longer give you the same consideration. So, in such manner, the student will understand that the act of cheating was taken not seriously, but this time a warning was given and a special consideration was also provided. But the next time the same behavior will be repeated, no, no more special consideration. So the student as well will realize the importance of honesty in the classroom. Then we have here the fourth, encouraging accountability. So the teacher now will remind the student of the importance of honesty. That is to remind the student not to give importance to learning rather than just merely getting a score, and to remind the student that honesty is expected of him when on the succeeding quizzes, or else the student will face the consequence. And if the next time the student will manifest or exhibit the desirable behavior of not cheating, do not just let it pass just because it is expected of the student not to cheat. Instead, we appreciate, we recognize the effort of the student. There is the change of behavior. So, as a teacher, we should give no recognition to the student by telling the student, I'm so proud of you for having the effort of taking the quiz this time seriously and for being true to your word not to cheat again. So in this manner, the student will learn that honesty and effort are more important than just getting a score. And the classroom environment, of course, as a teacher, you are able to establish the integrity, of the integrity and the value of honesty, especially while taking quizzes, rather than just instilling fear to your student. And of course, in this situation, no mistakes are given, the opportunities for the students to somehow learn from it, and not just take it as a reason of being punished. So this example of positive discipline, addressing cheating, it's more constructive rather than a more um, destructive approach, creating a much more damage to the student, being humiliated in front of the class while defeating the purpose of calling the attention of the student. So positive discipline, it goes beyond behavior management, as it also enhances personal growth. So it encourages students to develop essential skills, life skills, I mean, such as self-discipline. When we say self-discipline, they can monitor their behavior. They are not dependent with teachers and any elders to somehow discipline them, but they can also already regulate themselves and track their behaviors whether they are in the right track. Cooperation, respect, and problem solving. So, additionally, this positive discipline will promote autonomy among students. So again, autonomy is the ability of our students to choose by themselves, so to decide by themselves, and to somehow uh, being in control, of their life. And that discovery is very important, as it allows them to take responsibility of their actions. A classroom that implements positive discipline helps students feel a sense of connection. No? There is that sense of belonging and significance. However, there are still many incidents that, despite the advocacy of DepEd, to be learner-centered, to be prohibiting corporal punishment, there are still cases that teachers will lose their patience and will result to corporal punishment. But in that case, since you will soon be teachers, in the event that you somehow got lost out of control, in terms of um, your patience to handle misbehaviors, always have in your mind that whenever you say something to your students, since they are minor students, you make sure that um, it is something that's psychologically traumatic to them. Especially cell phones are readily accessible. You might not know the students might be recording you while you are na, trying to lecture them, or even impose corporal punishment. When you say corporal punishment again, that is applying a punishment to the students that involve maybe physical punishment, like sitting on the air, like even a slapping the student, physically hurting them. If not physically hurting them, you are verbally abusing them. So be mindful of it. No? Because again, our license is at stake. You are working hard for it, and it may just be a snap of a second, your license will be revoked because you violate um, the prohibited act of teachers not to um, apply corporal punishment in the classroom. So we make sure that we need to be mindful of our words, no? Especially in times that we will be challenged by our students. Now there is a disrespect in the classroom. If they're trying to challenge you, you make sure that we need to be ready. No? We need to be always aware, because at the end of the day, we are the teacher. We are accountable for our students in that class period, whatever will happen to them. So we need to be very objective in handling the situation, rather than being carried away with our emotions, as it may lead to a more damaging um, consequences. So the Department of Education now is actively supporting positive discipline, and has been very explicit about the prohibition of corporal punishment. So we make sure that as teachers we nurture supportive educational um, setting in our classroom. So that's why when we say positive discipline, it does not mean again that we are to tolerate mistakes, but there should be no firmness. When we say firmness, you know the rules, and from time to time we remind them, we give consequence, and consequence should not be something physical, should not be something humiliating, not something abusive verbally and emotionally. So we can somehow, for example, when we give consequence, we make sure that it is being understood by the students. Now, why consequences are given. So, for example, John, you are not allowed to participate the activity because you have not listened no, to me despite numerous warnings. So I want you to sit on that side, and you are given a task to read. So meaning, no, the reading assignment is not something physically harming to the child. It's not verbally or psychologically traumatic to the child, but the child will know. No, they are considered a child because they are still minor, regardless if they are still 16 or 17. It is something educational by nature as well. A task that is still, no, providing an opportunity for the students to learn rather than a punishment that the student, no, will feel that they are being um, emotionally manipulated by the teacher. So to summarize, these are the key points now. Positive discipline in the classroom is very important because now it somehow develop our critical life skills and emotional resilience. When you say emotional resilience, our capacity to handle challenges, our capacity to handle disagreements, our capacity to handle disappointments. So, not just as teachers, but also we imbibe it to our students and instill not to them the value of not coping. These are the life skill to negotiate, the life skill to communicate, and the life skill na, to listen actively. So our role as teachers is very important to model the behavior. We do not just demand it to our student na respect, the fairness, and constructive discipline. We should do it first. We should display the behavior first before we teach it to our students. And take note as well that in a learner-centered classroom, it should be positive and non-violent. No, rules are very important because it maintains structure. If there are no rules, of course, you cannot expect no students to be well oriented of what behaviors you expect them to manifest in the classroom.